quote-unquote Hindu extremist has been removed. But why not show what Gandhi said on the matter of Hindu-Muslim unity versus what were the prevailing realities? Wouldn't that be a better way to show history than to either purge something or to have something completely one-sided?
Okay, now you think that since we are going to implement the NEP and all books will be prepared afresh, okay, so let the time come, you will find your answer.
Are you confident, or can you, for the viewers, give any confidence that the criticism of India's history books, that they are not reflecting India's true history, whether it's the Mughal period or the independent Indian history? Sir, could you just give our viewers some thoughts, some context and some idea of whether the history books are going to be revised in a manner that is going to bring some conclusion to these debates?
Just listen. If we know about NEP, it speaks of rootedness in India, cultural rootedness, experiential learning, and address the local issues also. So, keeping in these points in view, not only history, but all subjects will be taken care, and again the experts will be invited. Expert committees, syllabus and textbook committees will be there, and experts will certainly take note of the NCF, NEP 2020, and on that basis, whatever recommendations are there, the learning teaching material will be prepared. That much I can say.
Sir, are you saying that the new history books are going to be completely different and a refreshing change from what has been taught to students so far?
Means I have very clearly pointed out that whatever NEP recommends, on that basis NCF will be there, and on the basis of NCF, our textbooks and syllabus committee will take note of this, and they will prepare those books. Certainly they will address these issues which NEP is speaking and directing to us. It is our duty to adhere to the recommendations of the NEP and execute the policy. For that, whatever will be considered fit, that will be done.
ये लोग आपका ध्यान भटकाते रहेंगे, लेकिन आपको अपने काम पर फोकस रखना है। कोई भी भ्रष्टाचारी बचना नहीं चाहिए।
They have categorically allowed the withdrawal of this petition, not passing any adverse order. I repeat, not passing any adverse order. If we get new causes of action or new persons or new reasons, it can be filed again. So clearly they have not entertained it at this stage.
सभी भ्रष्टाचारी एक मंच पर आने का प्रयास करते हैं, लेकिन ये जनता में भी इनका चेहरा बेनकाब हुआ है और कोर्ट में भी असलियत जानने का मौका मिला।
Hello everyone, you're watching News Epicenter with me, Maria Shakil. In a massive blow to at least 14 opposition parties, the Supreme Court today refused to entertain a plea alleging centre's arbitrary use of probe agencies and seeking guidelines for the future. A three-judge bench headed by Chief Justice Chandrachud with Justices P.S. Narasimha and J.B. Pardiwala said that political leaders cannot be put on a high pedestal and cannot be given any immunity. The Supreme Court also asserted that laying down guidelines without facts of a criminal case will be dangerous, and that political leaders cannot claim a higher immunity than ordinary citizens. During the hearing, senior advocate Abhishek Manu Singhvi, who appeared on behalf of these political parties, argued that there is a 600% increase in CBI and ED cases, out of which 95% are against the opposition. And he went ahead to demand that if the statistics show a harassing effect, then the opposition is only seeking guidelines. To which the bench, headed by the CJI, asked Mr. Singhvi to come before the court in individual cases. And if at all there is a chilling effect on the opposition, then the answer lies in the political space and not in the courts. Sensing the court's disinclination, senior advocate Mr. Singhvi sought permission to withdraw the petition, which was granted, with no further solid action plan, clearly, which the opposition has now. So the question that we wish to ask on this debate: has probity trumped politics? Before moving ahead, here's what Mr. Singhvi, Abhishek Manu Singhvi, had said about all opposition parties coming together for a larger judicial coalition and raising their voice in what he said was case of harassment by central agencies. This he had said during the Congress meet in Raipur. Let's listen in.
कि हमको घोषणा करनी चाहिए, बाद के राजनीतिक गठबंधन बाद में बनेंगे, लेकिन कम से कम ये संवैधानिक और कानूनी गठबंधन अभी बन जाना चाहिए कि सामूहिक रूप से इस देश की जो भी प्रमुख 15 पार्टियां हैं वो एक साथ मिलकर उच्चतम न्यायालय में याचिका करेंगी कि अगर आप बराबरी का उपयोग या जो बराबरी का व्यवहार नहीं करते हैं इस एजेंसीज के विषय में, तो वो हमारे संवैधानिक मूल ढांचे का उल्लंघन है, बेसिक स्ट्रक्चर का उल्लंघन है। लेकिन ये कांग्रेस नहीं, सभी पार्टी को कांग्रेस के नेतृत्व में एक साथ मिलकर याचिका करनी चाहिए।
In my guests, Shahzad Poonawala representing the BJP, we have Krishank Mane from the BRS, Professor Manojit Mandal from TMC, Kapil Sankla, senior lawyer, Shantanu Sen, former joint director of CBI. I'm going to begin with you, Mr. Sen, and then I bring in the politicians. Was the idea of a judicial or constitutional coalition of political parties flawed from the word go?
Yes, it was. It was flawed. You go to the Supreme Court in a single case where you show that the Constitution has been hampered or Constitution has not been followed. Now, in this case, we are quite clear that any act of corruption in the higher bodies or those who have held high positions, may have been ministers, they may have been MPs, the law clearly says that their information of corruption against them will be verified by senior police officers. In the case of ministers and cabinet ministers and MPs, MLAs, Supreme Court judges, the circular issued on 3rd September 2021 clearly says they will be verified by the DGP or an equivalent officer, and only then the approval will be given by the union government or the appointing authority. It is very unfortunate that they did not take a single case and go up and show a violation of this circular. It is also true that the CBI has been blunted, because in the past, CBI has a right to investigate any act of corruption on its own, verify it, see the allegations, and go ahead with the investigation. But that right has been taken away from the CBI. The manner started way back in 1980s when the then Prime Minister Rajiv Gandhi issued a single directive saying any officer of the rank of Joint Secretary and above, and this includes ministers, cabinet ministers, Supreme Court judges, High Court judges, cannot be investigated without a clearance from the union government. This was quashed by the Supreme Court because it was restricted to the Joint Secretaries. Then Atal Bihari Vajpayee also passed the CVC Act, bringing this law into focus. That too was quashed. But in 26 July 2018, this government laid down that no public servant, whether he is a peon or whether he is a cabinet minister, can be inquired into till that allegation against the public servant
Okay.
is verified.
Okay.
And different ranks were supposed to verify.
Okay. So,
and then only. But
okay.
that, listen, just
Yes.
1 minute.
Yes, sir.
This SOP has come only after 3 years of the passing of the law. That allegation should have been made.
Fine enough. So, Kapil Sankla, do you think this petition could have perhaps worked if the opposition parties were indeed seeing some kind of misuse of agencies or quote unquote selective use of agencies against opposition leaders, had it been about individual cases? Because if you look at the observation or the discussion that happened in the court between Mr. Singhvi and the Honorable CJI, he says, can there be immunity? Ultimately, a political leader is basically a citizen. As citizens, we are all amenable to the same law. And then he goes on to talk about how, conviction also, that argument which has been made in the past by multiple opposition leaders, that there has been the conviction rate of agency is very down, to which Justice Chandrachud says, Mr. Singhvi, in India, conviction rate is generally dismal. So this petition would have worked had it been about individual understanding of misuse rather than this collective understanding of misuse.
Well, very beautifully put. And let me tell you like this, that the sum and substance of the argument was statistics based. And therefore, the Honorable Chief Justice very rightly said this. And let me quote him, because I don't think it could have been, more beautifully put. He said that the problem with the petition is that you're trying to extrapolate statistics into guidelines where the statistics only apply to politicians. And we cannot have guidelines exclusively for politicians. And that is the crux of the matter. What was being sought is some kind of extra protection to politicians, disconnected from what the law is, and the law is same for everyone, be as mighty or as poor you are. And the Honorable Supreme Court, the Chief Justice also rightly said that the political leaders stand absolutely on the same standing as the citizens of the country. They do not claim higher identity. How can there be a different set of procedures for them? So when the argument was based on the fact that statistics show that politicians are being, there's a witch hunt against these politicians, etc. The genesis of the argument was exclusionist. And this is what pointed out rightly by the Honorable Supreme Court at the word go, that you cannot have different yardsticks. As I've always said, what is good for the goose is good for the gander. What is good for the poor is also good for the rich. You cannot knock the doors of Supreme Court at every pretense. You cannot challenge the MM's order straight to the Honorable Supreme Court to say, listen, I have some special right because I am a national politician or whatever it is.
Yes.
So therefore, that equality that was reiterated by the Honorable Supreme Court is very, very important.
Yes.
Individual cases where factually it is shown that there is some misuse of law, the Honorable Supreme Court, of course, and the High Court, of course.
Because the Chief Justice, Kapil Sankla, has said, and I'm quoting him, that, we are not entertaining this. If you want, you can come back in individual cases where someone has been targeted. So this is about perception of being targeted. Krishank Mane, you were among those who approached the court. What next for the opposition leaders?
Well, one thing, Maria ji, rule of law applies to all. Applies to all, matlab all opposition parties, as well as it should also apply to the Bharatiya Janata Party. But when the debate of corruption or corruption charges come, the way opposition parties are witch hunted and Bharatiya Janata Party's elected representatives or their 40% commission ministers or MLAs are exempted, and we don't see one single arrest. Probably the BJP spokesperson may come up with some Karyakarta's name, but so and so time they've been arrested.
At least today, for all the petitions that have been filed, if there is a sense, Mr. Mane, please, one moment. Today, at least, there should be an acceptance that this was that this effort was flawed from the word go. If the BRS feels that the investigation that is going on against K. Kavita in the liquor scam is some kind of targeting, then they should approach separately, individually, rather than seek joint immunity of the entire opposition.
Well, Maria ji, coming straight to the point, couple of hours ago, Bharatiya Janata Party in its official handle has made a very, the below the belt politics a cartoon of Kavita ji and Telangana Chief Minister with their charges of corruption. And Bharatiya Janata Party, they are already Bharat Justice Party. They give court judgment that we are tainted with corruption. Let the court do its job.
Exactly.
But
the court has done its job. Now what I'm saying, will the opposition... No, sir. Sir, because you're not answering my question. You're not answering my question.
I'm coming to it. Maria ji, I'm coming to it. But while I say this, the issue is not only about BJP's target on Telangana or Kavita ji alone. The same Modi's operandi is happening in numerous states. The same thing happened with Sanjay Raut.
No, but
the
then
same thing happens
but the court, you've not been able to convince the court. Tell me now, Professor Manojit Mandal, what does it do to all this opposition unity which had come on these cases?
Two aspects to it. One is legal, the other is political. The political fight will continue. And on the legal frontier, I entirely agree with the Chief Justice Honorable Chief Justice of India when he said that the politician should not have any special immunity. I think the same should apply to Mr. Shubhendu Adhikari as well. But he has been given this kind of immunity by the High Court of Calcutta, by the Justice Rajashekhar Mantha, that no FIR can be registered against Mr. Shubhendu Adhikari. This is a judgment.
Then
and
what is stopping the TMC? What is stopping the TMC in challenging that order in the higher court?
The TMC definitely has challenged the order in the higher court. I do not know what has happened to that particular case, but I appeal to the Honorable Chief Justice to look into these matters as well.
Okay.
That even in anticipation, a judgment of this nature can be delivered by a subordinate court, that no FIR, even if kill someone, that no FIR can be filed without the permission of the court. So he has given this kind of immunity in this country. And there lies the question of fight against the corruption and the BJP. This person is again a particular classic case. The moment he switched sides to BJP, and there is a case against him under the direction of the Supreme Court. Please don't tell me that I should go to Supreme Court to file the FIR against Mr. Shubhendu Adhikari, because the FIR is filed under the direction of the Supreme
it looks
Court.
like
But no investigation is
as
happening
far as
against Shubhendu
opposition
Adhikari
is
because he now in
concerned,
BJP.
this is a rallying point, and despite this obvious setback from the Supreme Court, they will be, saying that it's all right and that there has been no misuse of agencies.
Since you use the word politically loaded word rallying point, I would just wonder if you do another debate after this on how much rallying TRS wants to do for Congress and how many seats it wants to give it in Telangana, or how many seats TMC wants to give to Congress in Bengal, you'll understand how much of a rallying point it is and how much of a crying point it is. And let me tell you, this is not a constitutional coalition. It is a coalition of losers and a coalition of corrupt and commission courts. Please, first of all, Maria, all of these cases are tested at the annual of the court. In the last 9 years, all of these people with supreme legal battery of lawyers haven't got one case, one court order, one court observation saying that the agencies are being misused like a caged parrot like it was done in 2013. Not one instance. Secondly, all of these cases, let's see the TMC case, for instance. The SSC case started when 8 CBI probes were ordered by the High Court. The Lalu Prasad case started when Congress was in power, when BJP was not in power. It was actually the opposition parties, and he got convicted for the first time in 2013. By the way, he's been convicted 4 times. Is he convicted? Is it vendetta politics or is it corruption by him? Thirdly, Sonia Gandhi's case started when in 2012 a trial court started proceedings against her, and the Supreme Court also refused to give her any relief. So what has the agencies got to do? Anything? Nonetheless, these people went and tried their luck in front of the court, and the court has told them 2-3 things. One, that you can't have immunity just because you abuse the BJP from acts of corruption. 2, you can't say that you're a special privileged class, because earlier, Maria, ED used to mean entitlement of diners to loot, and CBI used to mean cage bird of India. Use it as per convenience for political objectives. You can't have a special class, even though Pramod Tiwari may advocate a special law for the Gandhis. And thirdly, what is very clear is that why are you fighting your political battles in a court of law? If you genuinely think it's vendetta, prove it in a court of law in an individual case, or go to the people.
Okay, let's look at some cases. Okay, one moment. Now that none of these leaders have got any relief from the courts, then why blame on agencies? That means the courts find prima facie evidence that the investigation must continue. Manojit Mandal, that is one moment.
Absolutely
in the case of Aam Aadmi Party, what is happening there?
Absolutely wrong in case of Sarda. You do not have the data in front of you.
I'm talking about Aam Aadmi Party.
Doesn't matter. Everyone is targeted in the opposition. Everyone. But
why
TMC
hasn't
is the prime
Satyendra Jain
target.
got bail?
TMC is
Why
the
isn't
prime
Manish
target.
Sisodia getting bail?
I'll tell you.
Why
Mr.
is there no
Madan
quashing
Mitra,
of the FIR and the cases against them?
What is your problem? You are giving uninterrupted time to your friend Sajid
No,
Poonawala,
that's
and you are
not fair.
interrupting me again and
There is
again.
no interruption or uninterrupted time. Go ahead.
So I'm giving you the data. Look at the case, Sharda case, 2,500 crores ghotala, people used to say. It's been continuing since 2013. CBI has taken over in 2014. Madan Mitra, one of the ministers, a very close aide of Mr. Mamata Banerjee, was arrested, was in jail for 9 months. No conviction till date. 10 years have passed. What does it suggest? Courts are doing their job. Investigation agencies are doing their job. No, it is just a political tool to oppress and to scare. Had there been any case against Mr. Madan Mitra by now, 10 years, there should have been some conviction, at least some definite charges. By the court, not by the police, not by the CBI. There are no charges framed by the court till now. What are you talking about? Narda case, 6 years, 2017, directed by CBI, directed by Supreme Court for CBI investigation. No charges framed by the court of law. 3 persons were taken over, and they were in jail in the VR of 2020.
Since you have asked specific question about Narda and Sharda, Shehzad Poonawala respond to this.
Misuse of agents.
Okay, just specifically on Narda and Sharda, please, and then we move on. Yes.
Maria, also it must be factored in that the panel is loaded 1 versus 3, and then there is a legal expert from the Supreme Court. So let's also factor that in. Also, let me come to the point that let's take one case for example. Lalu Prasad has been convicted 4 times. The Trinamool Congress spokesperson Mandalji, is Lalu corrupt? Yes or no?
So what kind of
is Lalu Prasad Yadav corrupt? Yes or no?
Is Hemanta Biswa Sharma corrupt or not?
No, he is not
corrupt or not?
No, he is not corrupt. No, he is not corrupt. No, he is not corrupt.
Chotalas.
No, is Lalu Prasad Yadav corrupt? Yes or no?
Chotalas are convicted.
Now you understand, Maria, may I complete?
Chotalas are corrupted not. Chotalas
may I complete?
Father and son are
Shehzad, please. Shehzad, please.
What are you
Maria,
talking
may I
about?
complete?
Yes.
Maria, may I complete?
Go ahead.
Maria, may I complete?
Yes.
Your PCR can do the needful.
Yes,
may
please.
I complete?
Go
I don't
ahead.
interrupt anybody. I don't interrupt anybody. Look, Maria, forget about courts framing charges, not framing charges. When a man has been convicted by a court, these people are so beholden to Lalu Prasad Yadav, they can't even say Lalu is corrupt. So how do you expect them to say even a shred of truth? One of the TMC leaders, Kirti Azad, said that India is going to be poorer than Bangladesh. He had to be fact-checked. So don't believe their facts on just ad hominem basis. I think there's a longer debate, then we can discuss about all these cases in detail. But I'll ask you another question. ED has taken action on Satyendra Jain and Manish Sisodia. Congress party has said it's welcome. If it was vendetta, why did Congress party, the newfound friend of TMC, say it's a welcome move? मतलब अपने पे हो तो अत्याचार, दूसरे पे हो तो चमत्कार. Good corruption in the case of Satyendra Jain, bad corruption if you catch Sonia Gandhi and Rahul Gandhi. ये क्या चल रहा है? This kind of double standards can't be done. Secondly,
can I respond to him? Just
10
seconds.
No, Krishank Mane will speak. Mr. Mane will speak. Yes.
Is Lalu corrupt?
There are numerous BJP ministers from Gujarat to Karnataka who have been convicted. Have you removed them? Were they immediately disqualified also?
Name.
Ministers, MLAs. This preaching of Bharatiya Janata Party it's nice to point out only at opposition leaders, but apna gireban jhaklo.
Is Lalu corrupt? Yes or no?
And please name one name. Please name
is
one
Lalu
name.
Corrupt? Yes
please
or no?
Name one name of BJP leader who was jailed, who is in jail. But you cannot name even one name. You will.
I can name 10 names. Give me an opportunity.
I'll
name 10 names.
What we are saying is,
Maria.
We have the gut. Maria ji, I'll tell you
one
thing. We have
Give
the
me
gut.
An opportunity.
We have the gut to
but why must I name BJP leaders who are not convicted? You tell me, is Lalu Prasad Yadav convicted? Is he corrupt? Yes or no? Krishank Mane. Krishank Mane, is Lalu Prasad convicted? Is he corrupt? Yes or no?
I am not spokesperson of the RJD. But I'm asking you a question of BJP.
You don't need to be from the RJD. He is convicted by a court. Is he not convicted by a court 4 times?
You want an answer? You want an answer? You should have some.
Is he convicted? Yes or no?
See,
it's a yes or no question. Is he corrupt or no? Is he corrupt or no?
Are you the court to ask me yes or no? Are you Bharatiya Justice Party?
He has been convicted by a court.
Okay, you're not getting. No. The problem is that this argument is going in the direction that I do not want it to go. I want to bring in the experts now. No. I'll bring in the experts now.
I just need an answer.
Okay.
There is an expert. You don't have an expert. You have a BJP spokesperson who thinks he's running a court. He was running a trial.
Okay, Krishank Mane, quickly respond. Don't. Yes.
Krishank Mane, if
my
I needed your certificates, I
don't
need your certificate.
You are a party of fake
I don't need your
certificates.
certificate.
You are a party of fake certificates from your supreme leader to your MPs.
Okay. Kapil Sankla and Shantanu Sen now.
I'm sorry, Shehzad.
Okay. Kapil Sankla and Shantanu Sen now. Kapil Sankla,
Yes.
Obviously in this, political, tu mein, we did expect it to not have a sensible argument right now. But my larger question is that what happens to this entire argument that has been built by opposition about misuse of agencies? And statistically speaking, that there has been a surge in CBI and ED against opposition. That is what Mr. Singhvi said.
Well, as far as their argument is concerned, there's a short answer. The statistics are created by statisticians to prove their own point. So, I mean, as far as statistics are concerned, they go nowhere. The question here is this. Has there been an individual case where there has been a specific instance of misuse of law? If that is not the case, then everything else is hogwash. And how do you know that there is no specific instance? Because during the arguments on charge, if the court says that no charges are made out, then is the case where you say that, there was a misuse, the FIR was a lot of hogwash, there was a lot of smoke and no fire. But if the court says that there is some merit in it and says that the trial will go on and the accused cannot get a quashing from the High Court, then there is some merit in the investigation. And that is the test. And that is the check and the balance in our democracy. And you cannot and you should not challenge that.
Okay.
Somebody here is questioning the orders of the High Court of Calcutta without going to the Honorable Supreme Court, making it into a political argument, trying to belittle the judicial process.
Okay.
The Honorable Chief Justice also said this very shortly, that if you say that the space for opposition has shrunk, that is the remedy is in the political space, not in the court.
Yes. So
what is in the court they do not want to
I think that's an important point that you have made, from that quote that was given. When you say that space for opposition has shrunk, the remedy is in that space, the political space, not the court. That brings me to the final word to former CBI officer Shantanu Sen. Shantanu Sen, CBI as an agency has been called a caged parrot during the UPA. Right now, there is this perception of misuse of the agency. What should the agency in itself do to really protect itself from these kind of allegations?
You will please recall that CBI was weighed very highly once upon a time. Why was that? Just go back to history. There was a time when CBI had a right to investigate cases of corruption. Now, as long as CBI was choosing its investigation, these charges were not made. Let us be practical. When the CBI was blunted by Rajiv Gandhi first, then others, and now by the 6th July 2018 order, CBI is acting and investigating under orders of the authorities. And here lies the question. When CBI takes up cases which CBI does not initiate itself, there is a charge that CBI is acting at the behest of the ruling power. The ruling power is not the BJP. The ruling power is the government. Government is taking a decision to investigate. Now, as long as that investigation, as somebody rightly said, is accepted by the court, the investigation will continue. The trouble is, when the investigation is continuing and there is no conviction yet, the BJP keeps on saying they are corrupt. This is wrong. They are not corrupt till they are convicted. We today had cases, very important cases of two crimes, calamitous crimes in UP and Rajasthan. In both the cases, the High Court has let them off.
All right.
So none of them is guilty.
Okay, Shehzad, since I agree that it was 1 versus 2, just a quick word from you. Please go ahead. Yes.
Yeah, Maria, and I hope I won't be interrupted. You know, some people who served as joint directors when the CBI was being deinstitutionalized never spoke up when they served their tenure. In fact, went on to become OSDs to LG of Delhi. That's another point. I don't want to get into that, but there are
no personal attack, Shehzad. That's unfair.
No, Maria, 1 second.
No personal attacks, please.
Maria, 1 second. I will have the right to respond. No, 1 second, Maria. If you make lie claims, you make false claims, that is unacceptable. That is unacceptable. Maria, do not unleash an attack on me. Let me make my comments. Let me make my. If you are strong enough, why can't you hear the comments? You lie on national television. He said this lies even before. Maria, you have to give me an opportunity. Maria, this is unfair.
Okay, go ahead, Shehzad. Make your point. Shehzad, make your point quickly. Yes, specific response. Specific response, please. Yes.
Specifically.
Chaliye boliye.
Yeah. By the way, Maria, does this man know that the prima facie order of the court has come against Satyendra Jain? Does he know that his prima facie order has come against Manish Sisodia? Who is he to say that courts have not held people prima facie guilty? We are not dancing around on the basis of an allegation. And on the basis of an allegation, they call our entire government 40% corruption. That time Shantanu Hussain doesn't open his mouth.
All right. Shehzad Poonawalla, Krishank Mane, Professor Manojit Mandal, Shantanu Hussain and Kapil Sankla, really appreciate your time. Thank you so much. Moving on to the upcoming Karnataka elections, the BJP is yet to release its official list of candidates for the upcoming polls, but their superstar campaigner has taken the spotlight. The Kannada superstar Kicha Sudeep has announced that he will be actively campaigning for Chief Minister Bommai, but won't contest or join this contest this time around or join any political party. In a press conference held today, Kicha Sudeep sat next to the Chief Minister and addressed him as his uncle. But his tweet got some special attention as he mentioned how Chief Minister Bommai helped him during his struggling days. Bommai said that Sudeep's support gives BJP strength to really fight it out in this very high voltage election. This would mark Kicha Sudeep's first foray into politics. Sudeep is from the Naika caste, notified under the scheduled castes list in Karnataka. The Naikas hold sway in the Kalyan Karnataka region. The BJP is also hoping that Kicha Sudeep's massive fan base will work in its favour. To remind our viewers once again, Karnataka goes to polls on May 10th and the counting will be on 13th of May. So will the inclusion of a movie star really help or change the outcome altogether? Will Kicha Sudeep then prove to be a boon or a bane for Chief Minister Basavaraj Bommai?
I'm here to give my support to my dear uncle and my respected Bommai sir. So I'm here to render my support, sir. I feel there is a lot of good that has happened also, which is again a perspective as a citizen, and it's got nothing with my connection with him, sir. I have also been in India. I have been a citizen and I am paying my taxes. So when I see certain developments happening and certain good things happening there, I will have my opinion, sir. In that way, there is no way that we can, as a citizen, will be 100% okay with everything in life. But there are lots, sir. There are lots we agree upon, we idolize, and we say, yeah, this is right. That is why India is popularized. India is going up today. Yes, of course, I agree upon our leadership, Mr. Modi. I totally respect certain decisions that he's taken, and as an Indian, I totally respect that, sir. But that has got nothing to do with me sitting here today.
उसका पूरा कैंपेनिंग हम ब्लूप्रिंट करेंगे और उनका बहुत बड़ा पॉपुलैरिटी है और वो आर्टिकुलेट भी है, इसलिए बहुत बड़ा ताकत बीजेपी को मिलेगा. बीजेपी तो अभी विनिंग मार्जिन पहुंच गए हैं, तो स्पष्ट बहुमत से जीत जाएंगे.
Vishwa is the spokesperson of Karnataka BJP. We have Sanket Yanagi from the Congress. Mohan Vishwa, here is the actor who is trying to make this distinction that he is not officially joining the BJP. He will not be campaigning for the BJP, but will be campaigning for his dear uncle Bommai. What does it actually mean? I mean, for all practical purposes, Kicha Sudeep has shown that he is soft towards the BJP. He is a BJP sympathizer. He believes in BJP's ideals and ideology, and hence he is, campaigning for the BJP, which may be all right. But why make that distinction?
See, Maria, this is not new in Indian politics. Okay, let it be any party for that matter. It can be BJP or Congress or JDS. I would like to, recall one incident where Mr. Amitabh Bachchan ji, somewhere in, I don't recall the exact year, 1986 or 87, when he was standing on par with Rajiv Gandhi. Okay, and he has openly told in an interview that how he and Rajiv Gandhi are very close friends during their childhood days, and how that family has inspired him. So when Amitabh ji himself was able to campaign during those days, then Congress never had any issue. And he was fond of Rajiv Gandhi, so he did it. And you take a recent example of Sonu Sood also, Punjab 2022 assembly elections. He campaigned for, his sister who was contesting from Congress in Punjab. And even there he said, caste doesn't matter for him. For him, he's an actor. And he has
okay, so what is your objection? What is your objection here? That the Congress has raised an objection, or what exactly are you trying to tell me?
No, the problem with the Congress is, they raise every objection because they're bankrupt. They're losing the ground in Karnataka that everybody knows. They started to spread lie from past 1 year.
Back in February, Karnataka Congress chief DK Shivkumar had a meeting with Kicha Sudeep. Certainly, the Congress was trying to woo him. Here is Kicha Sudeep who has chosen his side. Then why, say and make attributions here?
So, Kicha Sudeep has his own prerogative and he has a privilege to be associated with anyone. And he is a matured and seasoned actor. And I'm not saying all the actors are successful in making right decisions at all the time. But the question now is, BJP is dependent on Kicha Sudeep. And Kicha Sudeep is not dependent on the BJP. BJP is on ventilator since the regime of Mr. Bommai as the chief minister.
Okay, then you are saying that this is providing oxygen to the BJP. So Kicha Sudeep is providing oxygen to the BJP.
Not just that. Kicha Sudeep would be the ultimate and final resort for the BJP to come to at least to the stage of an opposition party. Otherwise, it could be pushed to the third.
Let's be clear that there is this caste angle also which is at play, Mohan Vishwa, and we cannot overlook that. Last October only, you tried to woo this community from which Kicha Sudeep comes, in which you went ahead and made that announcement of increasing reservations for SC/STs with the state cabinet, in fact, unanimously agreeing to raise the quota for SCs to 17%. And he comes from this Nayak community, which is the largest among the approximately almost like 52 tribes in Karnataka, and they have an influence in 15 assembly constituencies. So are we to believe then his campaign will be largely around those?
See, Maria, as a BJP, it never looks Sudeep from a particular caste perspective. Please do understand, Sudeep has put on his own effort in the sandalwood to come to this extent, and he has fan followers across all the caste, across all the Karnataka. Please do understand, that is not restrict an actor, a celebrity to a particular caste. If that was the case, as I said, what about the Congress campaign when Sonu Sood was campaigning? Did he mention about his caste? And what about Amitabh ji? Was the campaign basis caste? No, that never happened.
No, but then respond to this, that you need an actor to finally get his own fan base and his support and his popularity, because the BJP is losing ground in Karnataka. That is the charge coming from the Congress.
Say, Maria, from past 9 years, who's losing the ground across India? It's Congress. Okay, let it be 2014 elections or 2019 elections, or one by one losing each state by state. They don't have anything over there. Even in Karnataka also, they don't have anything. If that was the case, if Congress would have been done good work, then Siddaramaiah would have been in power in 2018. Why did they lose the ground? Congress don't have any ground in Karnataka. Please do understand. And our case, you know what's happening from past 10 to 11 months in the state of Karnataka, how developmental activities are happening. PM himself is coming and inaugurating certain things, which he himself has found foundations to, stone laid down in the past. When these kind of things are happening, when we are reaching more than 2 to 3 crores beneficiaries of our own program, I don't think so. We need,
So you don't need a Kicha Sudeep.
It is not. No, I never said I don't need a Kicha Sudeep. I said, what do you say? This is not new in Indian politics. Even in the state of
so then what is the need of the Chief Minister for him to do a joint press conference and for him to say that he wants to support his dear uncle?
Exactly. I will tell you. Mr. Sudeep also have clarified in the press meet, and CM also clarified categorically that, it's a personal relationship between Mr. Sudeep and CM Bommai.
No, but then there was a press conference and he also said that he will be campaigning for the party. So there is nothing personal here.
No, it was a personal.
Personal is politics. Politics is personal, clearly.
He has
Sanket.
clarified categorically in the press conference.
Sanket, the fact is that DK Shivkumar also reached out to Kicha Sudeep. He is a very, very popular star. He is a superstar of Karnataka and Kannada film industry. My question is, you would have also wanted him to support the Congress. He chose his side. So why get so upset about it?
No, first let us understand the critical condition of the BJP. They banked upon Mr. Modi, and Modi factor did not work for them. And other things will not work for them. Having realized that nothing is working for them for their survival or for their rescue, and it is the rescue operation which is going on. And Mr. Kicha Sudeep would be leading the rescue operation on behalf of the Chief Minister, Mr. Bommai. He would be rescuing Mr. Bommai at least for the next election. That is what he wants.
No, but there are more, the election is still more than a month away. How can you come to the conclusion?
Otherwise, he will be pushed. The BJP would be pushed to the third place, not even the second place.
So, what is the party which is at the second place? No. One moment. Okay, let the Congress make its assessment. Which is the party which is on the second place?
Firstly, the BJP and its high command, his associates, and everyone has understood. BJP would have third place in the election and rooted out in the South India. And now, in order to push it to the second place in the opposition, they are trying for it. That's it. It's a desperate attempt.
Okay.
Maria, shall I revert? Shall I comment?
Go ahead, Mohan.
Yeah. See, this is the problem with the Congress. When they call Amitabh Ji in the past, they never had desperation. When they called Sonu Sood in the past, they never had a desperation. Suddenly now, when an actor who's very well known in Karnataka, when he says that, he wants to support Mr. Basuraj Bommai, suddenly Congress comes up with this kind of thing. And first of all, let Congress clear themselves. Which Congress is first? Is Siddaramaiah Congress or DK Shivkumar Congress or Parmeshwar Congress or Patil Congress or Zamirabad Congress? There are, Congress is in Karnataka today is Ghar Ek Darwaza Anek. You have some 40 doors. You have 40 teams inside the Congress. It has been literally, splashed within themselves. Let them, make good themselves, then come out and fight the election. So Congress will be thrown out. You see, with the fear of that, I saw Mr. Surjewala's tweet also today.
I just want to understand one thing from you, Mohan Vishwa. I just want to understand one thing from you. And Kicha Sudeep's uncle is the Chief Minister here, Mr. Bommai, dear uncle. But he could have come out in support of his dear uncle much in advance. He's doing it just before the elections, which means he's campaigning for the BJP. And that he is not only campaigning for his uncle, and his uncle also happens to be the BJP Chief Minister of the state.
See, Maria, let me recall one more thing, okay? In 2019 election, one more star, Mr. Darshan, who is also well known in Karnataka, he campaigned for Mr. Muniratna openly. Then Mr. Darshan also campaigned for Mr. BC Patil openly in 2019. Okay. So these two MLAs who are ministers in our government were ex-Congress MLAs. So what is the say on Congress?
So you are essentially saying that this is almost like a culture in which stars campaign. Sanket, final words to you.
Say, that is what Sudeep said.
You see, Mr. Sudeep has made it very clear. And if you can analyze his statement made in a joint press conference of Chief Minister and other colleagues of the Chief Minister, he said that he is making an effort to see that his uncle should survive. It's a testing for his uncle, testing time for his uncle. In the sense, his uncle's end has come as a Chief Minister, and he will never be again.
But Sanket, you should look at it that the nephew is coming for uncle's, rescue. What is wrong in it? If it is about the personal relationship, then you should not even react. कोई भी आकर के किसकी मदद कर सकता है?
No, 1 second. Let me answer that question. Let me answer, Maria. Firstly, he is not related. He calls him uncle because they are family.
No, I understand that. I understand that, Sanket. But the question is that if he is coming for the rescue of his uncle, who is, according to the Congress, on a sinking ship, then it's good, right? that somebody is coming for his rescue, then why give it the political color? Why give it the color that this is a star who should have perhaps chosen the Congress camp rather than the BJP?
We are not against Mr. Sudeep. We respect Sudeep. And we also respect Mr. Sudeep's efforts to see that the BJP should at least survive for the third place or the second place.
Okay, fine. Fine.
Maria, last 30 seconds.
Okay,
Maria,
20 seconds. 20 seconds. Yeah.
Last 20 seconds. See, in the initial remarks, Mr. Congress spokesperson said that Mr. Kicha Sudeep is a mature gentleman. Obviously, the mature gentleman have taken a mature decision. So he should respect his mature decision. That's all. If he is mature enough, if Congress is agreeing that Mr. Sudeep is mature, then they should not make any comment against that. So that they should understand.
Sanket, I think that's actually the ball out of the park.
No, the BJP has already understood. It is a desperate attempt by the BJP. Mr. Kicha Sudeep has always been a great actor. And now he has taken a decision only to campaign. And he made it very clear because of his...
So you are saying this is acting. Okay, fine enough. Thank you so much. Mohan Vishwa and Sanket Yanagi, thank you so much. Shifting on to the last story on News Epicenter, the high voltage drama that unfolded in Telangana last night and continues to get violent by the hour. Telangana BJP President and Member of Parliament Bandi Sanjay Kumar has been arrested in connection with the SSC Hindi examination question papers leak. This came hours after he was detained from his residence in Karimnagar ahead of Prime Minister Narendra Modi's visit to the state. The secondary school certificate question paper for the Hindi examination had allegedly been leaked on Tuesday. But that is, it was in Warangal that it was done, just minutes after the examination commenced. And a day earlier, on 3rd of April, the SSC question paper of another subject had also been allegedly leaked. According to police, the Hindi paper was leaked after the examination commenced, and photos of the same were circulated by social media by a former journalist who goes by the name Buram Prashant, who is also a BJP worker. With the prime accused in the case having connection with the BJP, police have taken Bandi Sanjay into custody. Police officials are yet to issue an official statement on the arrest, but it has triggered immediate protests by the BJP workers. A large number of BJP workers gathered to protest Bandi Sanjay Kumar's detention and also raised slogans against Telangana Chief Minister K. Chandrasekhar Rao. Meanwhile, BRS blamed BJP for playing with the future of the youth. And here's something important to note, that the FIR that has been filed by the police against Bandi Sanjay Kumar says that that these are the points it has made, that the question remains, but the question largely remains in this case, who leaked the SSC papers?
जो व्यक्ति इसके खिलाफ संघर्ष कर रहा है, संजय बंडी और भारतीय जनता पार्टी, उसको दबाने की कोशिश की जा रही है। एक षड्यंत्र के तहत अपने घिनौने कारनामों से डाइवर्ट करने की कोशिश केसीआर कर रहे हैं और बेसलेस झूठे पर्चे डाले जा रहे हैं।
Let me bring in my guests. NV Subhash is spokesperson of Telangana BJP, Krishank Mane, BRS spokesperson. Krishank Mane, what is the role or alleged role of Bandi Sanjay Kumar, and was there a leak of papers at all? Because that's not clear from the word go.
Maria ji, it was the BJP only which kept a press meet. It was none other than BJP state president Bandi Sanjay who kept a press meet and alleged of a paper leak. Though the paper came out through WhatsApp after 10 minutes after the examination commenced. Now, who sent Bandi Sanjay? Where is Bandi Sanjay's phone? This is the remand report naming accused number 1, Bandi Sanjay, and accused number 2. This is the man, Bura Prashant. Prashant, a social media worker of Bandi Sanjay, an active worker of the Namo Frontal organization, has been with BJP since ABVP, and today he is accused number 2. straight questions which even the investigation agencies are asking in the remand report, that why isn't Bandi Sanjay not handing over the mobile phone to the police department for the investigation agency?
Okay.
Number one. Why did they have to delete the call data from the Prashant, or what did Bandi Sanjay speak through a WhatsApp call? These are the questions. And number two, we also, through you, Maria ji, we want to question the Bharatiya Janata Party that in Rahul Gandhi ji's case, when he has taken out the name of Modi, he was convicted for using the Modi surname. Today, BJP MLA Raghunandan Rao has given a statement that Telangana DGP is a Bihari goon. We take a strong condemnation of this statement by the Bharatiya Janata Party of naming the civil services.
Okay.
With
let's get into the facts of this case again. NV Subhash, the question here is that, and the FIR is claiming that the police received information that the MP here, that is Mr. Bandi Sanjay, motivated his followers and BJP activists to carry out dharna in front of examination centers so as to disturb the conduct and continuation of further exams. Why was he provoking students here?
See, this FIR is the frame charges. What we really fail to understand that we are making a voice against the BRS government in Telangana, where the paper leakages. It is a leakage government. What you see, the projects are getting leaked. The revenue department, there are so many leakages. Even during the exams also, this government cannot even conduct a small exam also, including the 10th class exams, where 5 lakh students are looking forward, because they're all the future is in the shape. So this government has been constantly being failed in almost in all subjects.
You have not answered my question. The FIR is saying that there has been some role of Bandi Sanjay, but what exactly is his role? What exactly was his role?
FIR is also framed. When he was arrested, and then they took almost 16 hours. They took almost 16 hours to frame the charges. Is this the way the Constitution just goes on? Is the way they just behave for the member of Parliament who happens to be the popular leader here?
Yes, Krishank Mane, what exactly is appearing here is, on one hand, the state government has failed to ensure that the entire examination process is free and fair, and then it is going after the state president of the BJP because you realize that they are your principal opponents.
Maria ji, the whole point of Bharatiya Janata Party is an attempt to malign the image, and that is the statement what they are talking. You have asked them the specifics of the case. We have the remand report. We suggest the BJP also to read this remand report, because the police has given to the honorable magistrate that they have the technical evidence of the phone calls between the accused one, Bandi Sanjay, and between the accused two, Prashant, who has leaked the paper through WhatsApp.
That is what I'm telling you.
And the WhatsApp conversation also has an evidence. This is the specifics of the case. No, please don't interrupt. We are talking about, see, I don't talk politics.
This is the fact we are talking about. This is the fact
I am talking about evidences.
No, this is the fact I'm talking about. That is
the fake phone.
That is the fake one. That is the fake one. That is the fake one. Because you have framed the charges, because
you should have the courage
that,
to
people have realized that you cannot even conduct the exam also. You cannot even conduct the exam also, a small exam or a big exam also. You have failed in almost all subjects. That is the frame charges. After 16 hours, now you change the entire episode.
The career of youngsters
you change
of
the narrative. And then blame on that.
Exam which was not leaked, number one.
Exactly, Maria. This is exactly like
the examination.
A
criminal conspiracy against the government of Telangana by BJP itself. Caught red-handed. Absolutely caught red-handed.
Nothing like that. Nothing like that.
You don't want exams to be convenient. Today, children.
Why do we do that? Why do we do that? We are, the whole youth.
Because
the whole youth is in favor of the Bharatiya Janata Party. They are the followers of the Bandi Sanjay Kumar. You are
Mariaji,
okay. You
I
are
would
only
like to
making
play a
fake
visual
statement,
clip also. I'm ready
which
to play a
the
visual
people
clip
are not
where
going to
Modi
believe on
Sanjay has
that.
given a
No,
speech.
no, no. My question
You
is
should not continue
why?
the
No, no.
academics.
My question is, and it is to both of you, that do you realize that we are looking at the careers of students here, and why should it be given a political color, the manner in which it is being given? Mr. Subhash, first to you.
Yeah, Mariaji, see, we have seen that TSPSC exams have been leaked. The secondary colleges, the exams have been leaked. There are so many times, Bharatiya Janata Party has been protesting.
30 times paper has
we have been
Krishank Mane, I'm
protesting.
going to come to you. One moment. Let him finish his point. Yes.
Yeah. So we are demanding the sacking of Mr. IT Minister, Mr. KTR from the cabinet. Now we are demanding the Education Minister to be sacked. So once all these things have come up, now they are diverting the attention, and Narendra Modi's program is on 8th. They are they have the inferiority complex, because when Modi ji comes here to Hyderabad, he is going to give a package of around 15,000 crores for the development activities, especially the infrastructure development.
Krishank Mane, 20-second final response from you. If you look at the response that came from the BJP leaders, they are saying that this is clear case of provocation on your part if you have arrested a BJP state president.
Mariaji, with all due respect, because this is related with the youngsters and children who are writing their examinations, you see their demand of asking Sri KTRG's resignation. CBSE paper was leaked. Modi ji expressed his sorrow. But did Modi ji resign? Himanta Biswa Sharma, a couple of days back, expressed his anguish that the examination was leaked there. Did they resign? But why is BJP demanding this in an election year?
No. My question is why get into this space? It is about the future of the students. Both the political parties are playing politics over it, and that is the problem.
Who is the cause for it, Mariaji? Who's the cause for it? Accused one, Pandit Sanjay.
Krishank Mane and MV Subhash, really appreciate your time. Thank you so much. That's all from me. I'll be seeing you tomorrow. Thanks so much.
From that particular state has to take the help from the local agency or the central agency for that matter. In this case, Maharashtra ATS had helped nabbed this person along with central intelligence, and from Ratnagiri railway station was where this person named Shaw Seppi was picked up. He was in fact absconding ever since the incident on April 2nd. But when his location was traced, there were inquiries that were made, and it was found that he was in a civil hospital where he was getting a treatment for his injuries, which is why now what we see is that depending on his situation, he'll be produced in the local court asking for a transit remand, following which he'll be taken to Kerala for further investigation. Currently, he's in the custody of RPF Ratnagiri, and the investigation would continue. In fact, the interrogation is on right now, and very soon we understand that Kerala police will also be reaching Ratnagiri to take his custody. Yes.
We have security analyst Patikrit Payne joining us. Mr. Payne, good morning. So, major development in the Kerala train fire case. The absconding accused has now been nabbed in Ratnagiri. How do you see this development?
Well, good morning. It will take some time for the investigating agencies to find out the actual motive behind it. But in today's era of social media playing a role in terms of indoctrination, it is not necessary that every potential act of terror would have some kind of a link with a terror organization. Somebody can get indoctrinated on his own and actually trigger a lone wolf attack. What we also witness that if in case it has any terror angle or an objective which is subversive in nature and not a personal grudge, what is worrying are the patterns and the dimensions in which how it is changing. Perhaps there are no more use of high intensity explosive material that is being replaced by other kind of inflammable products which might be readily available and for any kind of activity like this. It is a worrisome nature. Probably it is not easy for any security agency to prevent every attack like this. But where the radicalization is taking place, why people are moving towards certain elements are moving towards that kind of direction, it requires a thorough investigation.
Shahrukh Saifi is the one who set his co-passengers on fire in a Kerala train, and now He has been nabbed by the police. He was absconding and now he has been nabbed in Ratnagiri. He was at a civil hospital in Ratnagiri where he was undergoing treatment for his injuries. And now he has been nabbed by the police. Remember, he was the one who had set his co-passengers on fire in a Kerala train, and two of them even died. A woman and a 2-year-old child even died in that incident while jumping off the train. And now the accused has been nabbed in Ratnagiri by the police. CNN News 18's Anvit is joining us to give us more details on this. Anvit, can you tell us more about Shahrukh, who has now been nabbed by the police in Ratnagiri?
See, it is being said that it was in the intervening night of 4th and 5th April that Shahrukh Saifi, who was the prime accused as per the Kerala police, he has been arrested. It was a joint team of Central Intelligence and Maharashtra ATS that have managed to nab Saifi. And he had been absconding ever since the incident took place on Sunday, where he had allegedly sprayed some inflammable liquid on the passengers of the train and then had set them afire. Now, yesterday his location was traced to Ratnagiri, and inquiries at the hospital in Ratnagiri revealed that Shahrukh was at Ratnagiri Civil Hospital for his treatment for the injuries that he had received, because he had, while escaping, he had jumped out of a running train, and that is why he had received some injuries, and he was getting treatment at Ratnagiri at the civil hospital. But when the teams reached there, he managed to, ran away from the hospital without getting complete treatment. However, subsequently, extensive searches were made for him in Ratnagiri area, and finally, Shahrukh was located with the help of technical surveillance and the team joint operations of the police, and he was arrested. Now, currently, it's being said that he is under the custody of the RPF Ratnagiri, and his interrogation is yet to start, after which his antecedents will be confirmed, and it will also be confirmed if he is the same man, because the police had been making many raids in Delhi, Noida, UP and other areas also, as it had been confirmed that this man belongs to UP, and since then raids are being made. Many other people had also been detained, who had similar names or had any possible connection with this incident. So this man has been taken into custody, and questioning will soon begin, is what we believe.
All right, Anvit, we also have Neetu with us. Neetu, now that the absconding accused Shahrukh Saifi has been nabbed, what next for him?
See, he'll definitely be brought back to Kerala, because the case has been registered in Kerala, and it's not just the Kerala police, but it's not just the Kerala police that has been involved in this. According to Manoj Gupta's information, that he has been nabbed by the Maharashtra ATS there. So, what officials here are telling is that they will know the motive of this only after nabbing this guy and questioning him on why they was looking into this lone wolf angle also. So on what really led to this, because this was an attack where you were just randomly selected.
Good evening, hello and welcome. You're watching The Right Stand here on CNN News 18 with me, Poonam Burde. 14 opposition parties knocked on the door of the Supreme Court wanting relief in what they claimed was persecution of opposition leaders by the centre via investigating agencies like the CBI and the Enforcement Directorate. Congress, TMC, BRS, DMK and the RJD were among the parties who urged the court to frame pre-arrest guidelines to prevent misuse of investigative agencies. But unfortunately for the opposition, the Supreme Court bench led by Chief Justice D.Y. Chandrachud refused to entertain this plea, leading to it being withdrawn. Abhishek Manu Singhvi, the Counsel for United Opposition, listed statistics to point to low conviction rates in cases filed by the ED and the CBI. But the CJI was clear that just because of some figures and statistics, investigation cannot be stopped. Now, if you recall, opposition parties have hit the streets on multiple occasions. They've raised slogans both inside and outside the parliament. They've cried witch hunt, that their leaders are being questioned, some of them being jailed. But there seems to be no takers for this narrative. Even the courts of the country would not entertain it. So what exactly happened in the Supreme Court today? Let me break it down for you. Here's what the opposition said. Counsel Abhishek Manu Singhvi said there's a 600% increase in cases that have been filed by the CBI and the ED ever since the Modi government took over. What the Supreme Court said is that the conviction rate is generally dismal, so you can't point out to those statistics to want these guidelines. The opposition said that out of the leaders that are being probed, 95% are from the opposition, which is why this looks like a witch hunt. To which the Supreme Court said that political leaders are basically citizens and like any other common citizen, they too cannot have any protection as far as investigations like these go. Now, the opposition's plea said that they're seeking guidelines from the Supreme Court, an overall guideline, so to say. To which the CJI said that politicians cannot claim higher identity. They are on the same standing as any other citizen of this country. The opposition said the statistics show a harassing effect. To which the CJI-led bench said that you cannot have a different procedure for netas and everybody else in this country. The opposition then pointed out at mass arrest. They said that this is a threat to democracy. To which the Supreme Court said that this petition by parties, not by someone aggrieved, which is why we cannot pass an order. If you come individually or if a group of pleas come to us, then we'll consider it. But overall, a preemptive order cannot be passed, is what the Supreme Court said. Now, this is a definite setback for the opposition, but they believe it's not the end of the road.
The court felt that this is too large a matter to lay down general guidelines. They have categorically allowed the withdrawal of this petition, not passing any adverse order. I repeat, not passing any adverse order. If we get new causes of action or new persons or new reasons, it can be filed again. So clearly they have not entertained it at this stage. A skewed non-level application of agencies like, or misapplication of agencies like ED, CBI, etc. The figures published, which the court accepted, showed 95% misuse within the political class only against opposition leaders.
Now, the counsel for the 14 opposition parties argued that the government was violating the triple test that's laid down by the Supreme Court for arresting the accused persons. It requires reasonable grounds, it requires necessity and proportionality. Abhishek Manu Singhvi said that many opposition leaders were being arrested without any evidence or justification, and that was affecting their ability to perform their duties as elected representatives. The Chief Justice, however, was not convinced by this argument. So here's why this order is extremely significant. Number one, the top court will not entertain a petition that wants to save politicians. That was made clear today. Politicians have also been put on the same standing as common citizens. You cannot have different yardsticks, was the message that came to the fore from the Supreme Court. They also said that they will not stop investigation just because the conviction rate is low. If there are allegations that are leveled, then they will have to be probed. That was the message that came to the fore from the highest court of this country. But the door is not completely closed, as Abhishek Manu Singhvi is also saying. He says there was no adverse order. They asked us to withdraw the petition, which is what we did. So now, has this put an end to the noise around agencies being misused, that allegation, that narrative that we've seen, especially in the last couple of months? That's our focus on this edition.
सभी भ्रष्टाचारी एक मंच पर आने का प्रयास करते हैं, लेकिन ये जनता में भी इनका चेहरा बेनकाब हुआ है और कोर्ट में भी असलियत जानने का मौका मिला।
Tom Vadakan, spokesperson of the BJP, joins us on this broadcast. Leader of the BRS, Vishnu Vardhan Reddy, is with me. Kapil Madan, lawyer and political analyst leaning towards the Congress party, is also with us. And lawyer Ashish Dikshit is also with me. Now, I'd like to make it clear that the Congress party was sent an invitation for this particular broadcast, for this debate, but unfortunately they did not want to participate. I'd like to open this up with the BRS's leader, Vishnu Vardhan Reddy. Do you see this as a big setback, Mr. Reddy? Because even the courts will not entertain a petition that wants preemptive guidelines to be set just for politicians.
Good evening, everyone. See, I'll have to disagree with you because, with all due respect to Honorable Supreme Court, the Supreme Court had made it amply clear that it had given full liberty to the opposition parties to come back with new grounds, new facets, and new merits. So it's not done and dusted, and it's not an option that's not available for the opposition. But the Supreme Court did also mention that individual cases based on merit would be looked into, would be supported and protected if there is any merit in those cases. So the opposition leaders will continue. We still have faith in our judiciary system. We will continue to approach the courts and we will try to seek justice.
Sure.
Having said that, you made a statement that political opposition parties are making a witch hunt and by the Modi government and making a lot of hue and cry. But let me remind you, when Honorable Prime Minister Modi ji was the CM of Gujarat, he did make these sort of statements, calling CBI a caged parrot or calling CBI the Congress Bureau of Investigation. So
yeah, but the CBI was called a caged parrot under the UPA by a court. But anyway, go ahead.
Yeah. So what I'm trying to say is the selective targeting of the opposition leaders is something that's out in the open, that is coming out in public discourse, that's out on public domain. The reason why we are saying is, if you look at the people who joined BJP recently, there is one gentleman called Sanjay Patil who happens to be a BJP MP from Maharashtra, and he makes a statement on the stage in full public view that ED will not come after him because he is a BJP MP. And then there is another gentleman called Harshavardhan Patil, who was a former minister from Congress. He happens to join BJP and he makes a statement on the stage that he can sleep peacefully because he had joined BJP. Now, these are very serious statements being made by the elected representatives who happen to join BJP. And I can take a lot of names. I can take Himanta Biswa Sharma, Suvendu Adhikari.
Sure, and that's the allegation that the opposition has been making time and again, that the BJP is a washing machine of corruption.
Absolutely.
Once you join the BJP, then all of your sins are completely forgotten. And Tom Padakan, I would like to get you in. Sure. Sure, and I would like the BJP spokesperson to respond to that. Tom Padakan, the opposition does not see this as a setback. They say that there is still light at the end of the tunnel. It's not the end of the road. We can go back to the Supreme Court with individual cases. But how has that fared for the opposition so far? At least in the case of, say, Satyendra Jain or Manish Sisodia. They have been denied bail by the courts of this country. Those are individual cases as well.
Poonam, case by case, if you take it up, they have said that Supreme Court has said, well, if there's a grievance, we'll address it and we'll hear it. That's what they said. And we heard Abhishek Singhvi saying that, well, permission was given to withdraw the petition. So be it, because essentially there was no leg on which this petition could stand. Because their demand was that they should be given some kind of a reservation above the common man, where they are treated separately. If you're corrupt, you have to face the music. Now, whether it's UPA dispensation or NDA, the corrupt will be punished, and it is our policy that we have a zero tolerance on corruption. So that is our agenda. We have said that. Sure. And yesterday you heard the Prime Minister say that at the CBI function very categorically. Look, we won't tolerate corruption. You are free to take action against anybody, anywhere, and we'll back you. I mean, that's the position we have had.
Sure.
And as to the question of people coming to the BJP, I mean, it's unfortunate for them that those who join them and leave them, they say they have all cases, but when they are with the concerned party, there is no cases against them. Suddenly, when they turn to the BJP, there's a huge number of cases that they discover. Now, this is a double standard, double-edged weapon that they use from time to time.
Sure.
This whole business of washing machine, the narrative that they created. I said that on some other channel, I think. There's no detergent and there's no water in the washing machine. And then they still continue to say, well, you join, then you all join the BJP, where the problem will get sorted. But you don't, because you have something to hide. You are 14 parties who have conviction. People who are, in serious trouble. And then you want complete favor. And what is happening to us In Telangana, for example, what has happened? Our president has been picked up on a very strange excuse that he's leaked papers, as if he had nothing else to do. So when you do it, it's all, when the law of the land takes in control, you have all have all the problems in life, saying that, well, BJP is that and BJP is this.
So that witch hunt allegation does not really have a legal standing is what the BJP says. I'd also like to get in Ashish Dikshit and talk about this petition in particular. Do you think that this petition from the word go perhaps did not have any legal standing or was flawed? The kind of observations that the CJI made, do you think they were on expected lines with the kind of demands the opposition was making?
Good evening, Poonam, and to other panelists. See, in our constitution, one thing is very fundamental. That is the principle of equality. The petition which was filed before the Supreme Court today wanted to create a different class of citizenry for the purposes of politicians. They said when it comes to politicians, you treat us as a separate category and don't arrest us and make a different guidelines, put down different guidelines which are not applicable to common citizens. The Supreme Court rightly said that you are as good as a common citizen. Whichever law is applicable to you, to any common citizen, would be applicable to politicians. The constitutional scheme is such that equality is the basic feature of the constitution, except barring few high constitutional functionaries such as president and the governor. No one is immune from prosecution. And if you have any grievance with regard to that, the prosecution is not done in the right manner, there are umpteen number of remedies available in the Criminal Procedure Code, and most of the lawyers do exercise that. And coming to your particular question that whether this petition did not have legs to stand, I also think so that the petition, the manner in which this petition was presented to the court was demanding something which is legally not permissible. To say that you treat me as a separate class of citizenry is something which the Supreme Court will not allow as a final arbiter of the Constitution of India.
Yes, you cannot have politicians being put on a pedestal. That's really the message that came to the fore from the Supreme Court. And Kapil Madan, we had Abhishek Manu Singhvi, the counsel for the petitioners, the 14 opposition parties, go on to list statistics about the number of cases that have been filed against opposition leaders, the ratio that it had, and also speak of conviction rates. Now, the low conviction rate is something that the opposition has always pointed at to bolster their claim that these cases are nothing but vendetta because they don't reach their logical conclusion. But even the CJI came out today and said that in general, the conviction rate in this country is dismal. So you can't single out the cases that are being filed by the CBI or the ED just against politicians.
I agree with you to this extent that, the petition, to my understanding, the petition, the court was right in not allowing the petition in a sense because you can't have, general guidelines on something like this. But at the same time, the court did give a liberty that, the court will look into it, the aspects raised in this petition whenever there is any specific case. Now, let me quote, if you recall Anil Deshmukh's High Court order, the court observed in the order, the case filed by the ED looks absurd and, there seems to be no likelihood of conviction. So this is again an observation of the court. Now, but what happens in the meanwhile, the person spends a considerable time in jail. And, I also agree with Ashish here. Ashish gave, a remark that you can't have different set of laws for, politician and for a citizen. Well, of course, yes, everyone is equal. But the point is, the problem is sometimes the law enforcement agencies try to treat a politician who's been accused of an offense differently. Let me quote you a very specific example. I have never seen